says it is. And when you ask her to qualify that, when I ask her to qualify it, she turns and runs, you see. And that's because she knows damn well herself that she's no authority, you know. So quit lying to us. I mean, it's preposterous. You know, every day I hear of generally several new people standing up as if they have a solution. And you can't even hardly distinguish the different things that these people are claiming solution, but none of them have a full qualification amounting to a proof of singular solution, which I produced 42 years ago. You know, this is man shooting himself in the foot, in the other foot, in the leg, in the knee, in the other leg, in the upper leg, in the stomach, in the guts, in the lungs, in both arms, in the face. You know, what the hell for? You know, I mean, there was a solution a long time ago. What about it? These people don't dare even confront me because they don't have the first argument. They don't dare mention the fact that I exist because you would know there was a solution, and they know you would know there's a solution, and that's why I am the most prominent missing things from each of these plagiarists' work.
Okay, Mike, so where do we go from here then? I don't know how much time we've actually got left now, but...
it doesn't matter. I just talk about something as long as it needs talked about.
Oh, well, that's okay. I mean, obviously, I want to try and get the information across to as many people. I mean, you've been doing this for 40 years, so yeah. We're now on TNS Radio. I'm hopeful, you know, that this will go out further and further. We'll get more people that also have their own medium of expression, let's say, to be able to get the same message out. So what we need to do as well, I think, we need to get this message out. We need to say mathematically perfected economy is the way we should be proceeding. We all know that there's all of us that are awake enough are aware that there is a problem. We know there has to be something to fix it. We know interest, or the fact that debt and money is interest based, is a massive part of the problem. You know, that probably the number one part of the problem. But the other business side of things is also an issue. As we've already stated, with the stocks and not necessarily bonds, I suppose, but certainly stocks and shares and things like that, and basically trading paper against paper. It's all something that's going to have to be changed, and we're going to have to get this out to people, and we're going to have to explain it in such a way that they can understand it, and they get this aha moment.
Right. Well,
this is something that they could do easily.
Okay, let's just cut that off right there and address that much so far. You know, mathematically perfected economy, you know, there was people who shook their heads 40 years ago and said no one will ever understand those words. And it's a household term. You know, in diverse places of the world and amongst many people. I mean, you know, I had unheard of traffic to my web pages even in the, you know, middle 90s. And nonetheless, what people have to say to each other is not that mathematically perfected economy is the only way to go or something to that effect. What in truth we really need to understand is as I have explained so many times, how first of all, bankers are not creditors. We're not borrowing money from banks. The debt is not to the banks. It's an obligation to pay a promissory obligation out of circulation. Interest, furthermore, multiplies artificial indebtedness in proportion to capacity to pay. by this implicit obligation to maintain a vital circulation by perpetually reborrowing principal and interest paid out of the circulation, with the principal, of course, negating the possibility of paying the sum of debt down, as what principal we pay out of circulation has to be reborrowed as new circulation principal equal to the former principal, and as, of course, interest is borrowed back into circulation as new debt above the former sum of debt, so the sum of debt increases perpetually so long as we maintain a vital circulation by so much as ever greater sums of periodic interest on an ever greater sum of debt. Now, I can say that in a few minutes, and people may never express that so exactingly themselves. But those are the issues that we really truly need to understand. And we do ourselves injustice when we depart from an accurate explanation, an accurate and accountable explanation of the categoric faults and their singular solution. Now, mathematically perfected economy is actually even, quite simpler to understand, because all it is a eradication of interest and obligatory schedule of payment. The vehicle for which, of course, is a promissory note. Now, yes, it's important that people get the word out, and you'd be surprised how much of my time is taken up with requests for me to speak to important people, many of whom run in fear from me, so that I can straighten them out where they're wrong. Those people, I've spent so long at this that I'm not a quitter, of course, but I've thrown the towel in on them, not just because they're lost causes, but because they won't go there in time. And I see this long-term pattern. A person like Ron Paul buys into this Austrian economic dogma, a bunch of crap that, frankly, only a fool would fall for. And, the guy's irretrievable. And people have told me since about 1980 that Ron Paul was a guy that I have to talk to. Well, this is something that we have to get out of our heads. Because, in truth, if we wait for the guy who's never going to make the move, we sunk our ship. In truth, it's we, the people of the world, especially when we are striving for what is absolutely just and righteous, and especially furthermore when it's the only solution for our affairs. There's one and one only solution for inflation and deflation and maladisposition, one and one only solution for systemic manipulation of the cost or value of money or property, and one only solution for inherent irreversible multiplication of artificial indebtedness by interest. And why is everybody against interest nowadays? I was the only one in the world for so long, and it was my articles, "Interest is Usury," that swayed people. I hear people using my very words all over the place, including people who don't even know me. The word obfuscation, since I started using it in relation to the currency, is becoming in common usage even in the news media. And yet these people, though this word descends from a sudden common regular incidence of usage, pay no mind or credit to this vital idea. This is what's wrong, that we depend on a Ron Paul. Instead, we should be standing ourselves. But the truth is, there is no such thing as representation or consensual government where the people don't understand their own affairs. Given that government is so disposed to cheat us and to perpetuate this crime, we are our only hope of salvation. So this is why I've engineered the approach that I have. And I was working on, the last touches of this evening. We're hoping to go online soon here. I know people have heard this before, but there's been lots of issues, including finances, which do not exist. And if it weren't for regular people pledging to put this thing together, it would never happen. So we have a core of patriots which understand this issue, which share in preserving the knowledge of it so it doesn't even just exist in one place. Something happens to me, this thing isn't over. And the vehicle, as I see it, yes, it's good that other people may elaborate on this, but in truth, we have discussion after discussion after discussion, and each of them, many of them at least, would suffice on their own as a vehicle for teaching all of these things so that a person could listen to this program again and maybe another time yet and say, oh, I get it now. Wow. That's, and once people get it, they're changed forever. It's not as if you believed a lie. It's like the wool's been pulled off from over your head, and you can see for the first time in your life. And so, yes, it's good for us to talk about it, but a problem that I find is that a person gets enthusiastic about this, and the next thing you know, in their very first words, they're too advocating to study the videos of a plagiarist who, in truth, at the time they produced the video, was an advocate of interest, as were all the other people in the video. And they were emulating me, not understanding diddly about this thing. And today, after being proven wrong on the things they were advocating then, now they're advocating that money can't be a debt. They're wrong, wrong, wrong again. And what happens is, so this person advocates, they go see these people, and this is what we have to understand. Solution isn't a matter of opinion, and it's not a matter of casual opinion. It's a matter of perceiving that the parts line up in a certain way which points to this fact and this fact alone of solution. Because there is only one solution of inflation and deflation and maldisposition, systemic manipulation of the cost or value of money or property, and inherent irreversible multiplication of artificial indebtedness by interest. There is one solution to all three of those things which cover every fault of economy. One and one only. And then the person goes and he says, oh, money can't be a debt, or we could charge this much interest and we have to have a state bank. He liked Ellen Hodge and Brown's book, So that's the problem. When you speak, I don't know, I used to be reminded by certain uncles and whatnot that when you speak, the words should be golden. That is, shut your damn mouth until you have something to teach. Don't notify us of what's obvious, what we already know. We want to hear something which enriches us, which takes us somewhere. And if we all followed that rule, there wouldn't be many mouths flapping about this issue. So what is all the flapping about? The flapping is a generator of division. And this is a huge problem. Because you constantly see everywhere out there, you see all these people who start a movement. Well, we've got 2 million subscribers, and all we want to do is we want to get everybody out of Congress. Now they don't know this, but my mandate would basically could convict every member of Congress of treason and get them out real quick, or straighten them up real quick, one or the other. But they're not going there. Because why? Because they got a book on monetary reform, and it's by one of my most amateurish plagiarists. It's actually hand stapled together, and it's about mathematically perfected economy, a thing they can neither explain nor author, and have only plagiarized. They bought this book for $30. They've started this movement a year ago, and they haven't even begun to read the little pamphlet yet. Yet they're standing up and they're gaining